Syd Vianello, independent analyst and a man who has been closely following the SABMiller-Anheuser-Busch InBev takeover, joins us on the line for his take on the deal. A very good afternoon to you, Syd. Did you see this deal going this far?
I always said that once the two major shareholders representing 41% of the equity, once they caved in, quite frankly, everybody else would just stand in single file and accept the offer. But you needed the two major shareholders to come on board. Yeah, I'm not even sure that you needed the management. You needed the two major shareholders, and clearly they've now struck a deal with the two major shareholders, well, that's the end of the story. So we have a deal, obviously subject to a lot of preconditions, and the more relevant ones obviously being the regulatory authorities in various countries and competition issues and things like that. But I mean, InBev, I have no doubt, would have done a lot of background work before they even put the tentative offer on the table, and I reckon they must be pretty happy in their own minds that they'll get past all the issues as quickly as possible.
So it's been 4 offers for SABMiller. So this is the final offer for them. You did touch on those regulatory approvals, but we did have the National Treasury here in South Africa raising a few concerns. Do you think they have any muscle in stopping this deal?
Quite frankly, they have no muscle at all. There are no competition issues. I mean, the fact is that SAB, if we go back to the days of Mayor Khan when he ran the business, he always called it a temporary sole supplier situation. And quite frankly, with the exception obviously of Heineken, who've got a bit of market share, I mean, they are for all practical purposes a virtual monopoly as it is. So I mean, how do you have a competition issue if you are acquiring a monopoly business? I also understand, somebody told me that apparently they are worried about or certain parties are worried about the tax base being eroded.
Yes.
I don't believe, SABMiller is a non-South African company already, and to whatever extent they've been able to, let's say, optimize their tax structures, I guess that was done many years ago, and I would also go so far as to suggest that 100% of the earnings of South African breweries have, ever since the company moved to London, have been transferred to London every year in any event. So how do you transfer more than 100% of your earnings to London? It's already been transferred to London. So I don't see any issues like that of being relevant. I know the PIC said that they had extracted some sort of indication that AmBev would seek a secondary listing in Johannesburg, and I'll be quite frank with you, I don't believe that will happen either, because once you've got the business, and firstly they never made it a condition, and secondly, even if it is a condition, the PIC shareholding is not big enough to block the deal. So, and knowing that InBev are absolutely paranoid about costs, I really do not see any need for them to have another cost of a secondary listing in Johannesburg, given the fact that I guess the London listing will disappear in any event. So what on earth do you want more than a listing in Belgium and a listing in New York for? I mean, that's always served them well, and why shouldn't it serve them well in the future?
Well, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Syd Vianello, independent analyst.